How do you get out of a thought loop of an event that happened or a future projection of an event that's not good when you're thinking over and over about something that's called rumination or perseveration, and it's usually around something negative, a thought about something that happened in the past or something that could happen in the future that's driving you into negative feelings like anger, sadness, depression, anxiety, fear, embarrassment, humiliation, and you just keep going back and thinking about the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. It's got these regrets attached to it, or this aspect to it that you just can't seem to figure out. And so the brain opens up a neural pathway, and then the energy of the brain just keeps going back to that same neural pathway over and over again. So it's like you're addicted to this negative feeling. You just keep going back to this thought, thinking about it and thinking about it, replaying it and replaying it. How do you get it to stop? Well, there's a couple ways that I'll show you. The fastest and easiest way is use of a propitious question. Because your brain is on a negative track, you need to get it out of negative thinking into positive thinking. And one of the best ways to force that is with a propitious question, which uses aggrandization. So you're being fiercely over the top positive. So an example of this would be if you're thinking about how you're embarrassed about how something went in the past, how someone treated you, what they took from you, you would set up a propitious question, which starts out with a why, and then you state the ideal objective of what you would really want to come out of this, and then you just aggrandize that. So it would sound like, why why will I be incredibly successful regardless of what they took from me? So what I did was I looked at the objective to be incredibly successful. I made it aggrandized incredibly, and I made it a why statement like it's already going to happen. So why will I be incredibly successful regardless of what happened? Or let's say I'm ruminating about a future event that could happen. Maybe I'm concerned about a future job loss. Why will I be rich regardless of what happens to me tomorrow, if I lose my job or not? That's aggrandizing because I said rich. Why will I be? So it's like fiercely over the top positive. When you ask yourself a question like this, it halts the rumination and the loop stops, because the loop is trying to answer a detrimental question. You're asking yourself things like, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did that happen to me? Why is this happening in the world, or whatever it is that you're ruminating on? But it's detrimental because there is no positive answer to it. So it just keeps going back and replaying it, trying to look for a positive answer. So when you say, well, regardless, why is it going to be, and then you create some positive case scenario that's going to come out of the whole situation, your mind stops and it has to answer a new question, which is very positive. It's a fiercely positive question. That's the point of a propitious question. By far, the most comprehensive way to stop the negative loop is the JOT method. I'll go over it briefly here, but you should go watch a video that really trains on the JOT method, because you're going to have 3 steps: the stop, drop, and the roll. The stop means to write it down on a piece of paper. Sit down, maybe stop what you're doing. The drop means that you're going to ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? You may have to ask that 1, 2, 3 times to really get deep and find the distorted way of thinking. Write down your answer to the question, why does this bother me so much? And then finally, you're going to role play. That's the role portion of it. That's where you take what you wrote down as the answers to why it bothers you, and you make that the child's voice. You have a child ask you the question in your imagination. So you pretend like a child is coming to you and saying whatever it was that you were perseverating about. Maybe, I'm really scared about talking to that girl because I feel like I'm going to be rejected, and that makes me feel like I could die. And then you're going to now switch into the parent, and you're going to talk to that child, this imaginary child. And whatever you say, you write that down on a piece of paper. Son, you don't have to worry about the fact that you could be rejected. The only way to know if something could work out is to go ahead and talk to the person, and you need to divorce yourself from the outcome and allow whatever happens to happen and respect whatever her choice is going to be. But if you don't make the effort, then we will never know. And that could change the entire outcome of history. And ultimately, you're building up a life skill, and you're brave, And that would really show a lot about your character, not just to her, but the rest of the world, blah, blah, blah. And I write all that wisdom down on a piece of paper, and then how do I feel? Calm. The negative loop stops. And then you get refocused right away on purpose, which is a project that you're working on. Once you do that, then you'll be out of the negative loop. If it comes back, you just repeat these same steps. Hope that helps. If you want to learn more about these things, you just enroll in Healing School on my website, healingcourse.org.